buddy. Go, bro. You excited? Nice. You wore your nice clothes today.
I'm so excited.
You excited? Yeah. Almost there. Theater's empty for now. We got, let's see, I think 210 pre-sale tickets. People come at the door. Yeah, right.
Come back to a place where most folks smile.
Almost time. Drink some more beer. A lot more beer.
And the
then
nights
there's beers
meant
inside.
more wild.
Thank you, guys.
So pull up a seat and let your guard down. The fire's burning hot and feet are on the ground. Forget about it, it's been so long. And get lost with me in an old Tyler song.
Now we can't do anything. I was a little stuttery a little bit, but fuck that. We're rolling. It's gonna be a good night. It's gonna be a good fucking night. Packed house. Not sold out, but it's packed.
Yeah, this is one of those nights.
I got a adrenaline rush right now.
That one school's bartender.
Which one? What else?
The redhead.
Peaches. Peaches. She is beautiful until you start talking to her and she's got a Philly accent.
I'm okay with that.
Nah. Until you start talking and she's like, fucking don't play.
Thank God he let us fly, 'cause he could have let us sink in one of those nights.
Appreciate it. Juju lost 5 pounds during that set. That was great. Keep it going for Juju Cooper. That's my boy. Yeah. That's my boy. You know, sometimes I think referring to him as my boy is kind of historically insensitive, don't you think? You know? I don't know. Especially because he's my only black friend in town. I'm like, you know, that's not a choice. You know, I didn't choose that. The opposite, you know what I mean? Like, I was searching. I was soul searching, you know? It's hard to come by in these parts in Morgantown. You know? Like, I don't want you to think I met him and was just like, one's enough. Nah, the opposite. Quite the contrary. I felt like Thanos searching for Infinity Stones, trying to find a black friend in town. I got a soul stone. I got one soul stone. I just gotta get 5 more soul stones to complete the gauntlet. And I've been told, this is what they told me, I'm just repeating, when you get 6 friends, you can say it. That's just what I heard, No, I don't say it. I don't. Seriously, I don't. But I wish I could. You know? Don't we all? I would if I could, but I can't, so I shan't, right? They call it harmful speech, and I think there's a difference between saying it and just saying it, you know? I come to West Virginia, motherfuckers, say it. Like, it's scary, you know? I'm just trying to pee here, man. I don't want to talk politics. You seem like a nice, you don't seem like a nice guy at all, actually. You seem like a terrible, terrible person. They call it harmful speech, and I understand that, but that phrasing can, get some touched up because from my experience, in my opinion, the only person that should be harmed by that kind of speech is the motherfucker that speeches it. Okay? No? All right, that didn't make sense? I know it wasn't grammatically correct, but that made sense. All right, thank you, Like, I saw a white guy get jumped one time, 6'1". You ever see someone get their ass beat so bad you stop saying words? From a distance, you're just like, ooh. duck. Right? But I was curious, so like I walked up to him and I said, excuse me, fellas. Sorry to interrupt the fun, but if I can inquire, why are you guys beating this guy's ass? And they go, you said the N-word. Proceed, gentlemen. Go right ahead. They were not gentle with that motherfucker at all. I've had to turn down the pass before. That's devastating. You know? I felt bad, I felt rude, you know? I wish I could just pass it on to someone more deserving. Like, donate it to a good cause, like make a little white kid's wish. Yeah. I had to turn it down. It was my first time at a club. First time at a club, freshman year at WVU in Morgantown. I go out and I'm at a club. And my whole life I didn't know why somebody would go to a club on a Tuesday. So I went to a club on a Tuesday, right? I started looking around, I was like, I'd write a song about this shit too. It was great. It was awesome. I was having dollar mixed drinks. I got grinded on for the first time. Oh yeah. I mean, I'll take it, but it was 4 years ago. I've been grinding on 2 times since then. Yeah. I didn't know what to do. I felt like a little kid riding a roller coaster for the first time, you know? I didn't know whether to just throw up my hands and scream or just hold on for dear life. What's your name? Oh, God. I didn't know grinding etiquette. No one taught me grinding etiquette. You know, that's not something they teach you in middle school, not at all. I didn't know whether it was socially correct to pop a chub. I didn't know. My awkward ass, I was nervous as a motherfucker. I kept backing up because I didn't want to poke her, you know? I poked her. Poked her quite a few times, actually. Yeah, and then 2 minutes later, she looked at me, she goes, and then walked away. Laughed my ass, Dave. They're like, no? Okay. I didn't know what else to do, you know? So I did what naturally I do, and I started rapping. So I found my way to the middle of the dance floor. DJ's playing 6 Foot, 7 Foot by Lil Wayne. And I'm surrounded by, for the sake of discussion, let's just call them a bunch of black guys. So it's me and the fellas, right? It's just me and the boys. And I'm in a circle and rapping along to every word. And they were like lifting my shirt. You ever see that? That was exciting. They were like dapping me up mid-song. I felt like I just hit a game winner at a street ball. It's cool. I was riding out. Let me preface this though. That song was playing. I was rapping every word. You might not be able to tell by looking at me, but I'm a huge Lil Wayne fan. Huge. I've been listening to Lil Wayne all my life. Before I even understood what he was really saying, honestly. Like he's got a song with Drake, and the chorus goes, while she's riding it, I didn't know what she was riding. But they were talking about riding bikes. She looked back at it and said, baby, it's real, it's real, it's real, it's real. I just thought they were talking about how strong their relationship is. I was in the backseat of my mom's minivan being like, they got a good thing going on. Must mean a lot to them to write a song about it. But I love Lil Wayne. I listened to him all the time. Like, while my friends were listening to like Coldplay, Maroon 5, I was rapping every word to Lil Wayne songs. Well, not every word. Not one specific word. Like, I've trained myself in years of being a white kid that likes hood rap to not say that one word in public. You know? In private, I'm just going along with the lyrics. I'm just sticking to the content, you know? Maybe in the shower or in the car with the windows rolled all the way up, you know? Never in public, though. Never in public. So like I said, I was at a club rapping with these black guys, right? And I wasn't saying that word. And they noticed that. And one of them lunged at me. Honestly, scared the shit out of me. He went, and I went, and he goes, "Say that shit, cracker." As flattered as I am, Jamal, really. I don't think the other Jamals would appreciate that. I don't think they got the memo. So with that said, fuck no. I said that shit. I had to. Felt rude not to. I had to take an opportunity when it comes at me. You guys having a good night tonight so far? I'm glad. I'm glad that worked to start. But yeah, Morgantown, make some noise. I love Morgantown. I love the school. I love West Virginia. I didn't always like West Virginia. West Virginia was a family school. My uncle went there, my dad went there, and my older brother went there. This isn't slam poetry. What the fuck, you clapping on every word? Sit back, relax, and smile, motherfucker. I appreciate the support, but thank you. Thank you. It's like keeping the tempo going or some shit. WVU was a family school for me. My dad went here, my uncle went here, and my brother went here. And my brother always knew he was gonna go here. And being the respectful younger brother, I had to hate it, you know? I don't trust people that get along with their siblings. You guys aren't teammates, we're rivals, you know? Like, fuck that. No matter how cool, like, Tavon Austin highlights were, I had to go against it. Until they gave me an $11,000 scholarship, and I was like, it's a fine establishment. It is a fine, I mean, I don't know about establishment, it's a fine party school. And we're proud of that. I'm proud of that. My dad went here in the 90s. My dad went here in the 90s, but never told us about what he did. You're not supposed to tell your college stories to your little kids, right? So we had to learn them, like, another way. Like, my uncle, this past Thanksgiving, was shooting hoops. I passed it to him. He lines up a shot, and he goes, "Your dad tell you how he got his stomach pumped freshman year?" Backboard. I was like, oh, shit! My dad's just standing over to the side, being like... So I kept feeding my uncle the rock. I was like, give it to him, he's open. And he goes, "Hey, Rich, tell your son about the forbidden night." Backboard. Yeah. You're not supposed to tell your kids your college stories at all. But yeah, I like school. Not really, I like being at school. I like being with you guys. I feel like college is a social education. I'm not in biology or anything. So if you're in something real that's gonna matter, that won't get replaced by AI in the future, you should study. But in terms of like going out, it's a social education. You learn things about yourself, right? It's like, I never met a stranger before. That was a reality check. Like, everybody I've ever met, talked to, either knew me, my family, or my friends. I come here to meet strangers, endless possibilities, you know? I meet a girl and she's like, "What's your name?" "Bond." "Colin Bond." "James is my father. I was born out of wedlock." But, yeah, I don't really trust people that, like, try and find themselves, you know? They say, "Oh, I'm gonna go to school and find..." You ever talk to a girl and she's like, "I'm gonna go on a vacation to find myself." And she goes backpacking in Guatemala. You're like, "Oh, do you know any Spanish?" "No, not really." She's gonna find herself in a fucking ditch really quick. "Senor, no. Gringa. Right? Aaron Rodgers tried finding himself. He went on retreats, you know? One off season, he was like, "I'm gonna find myself." Takes ayahuasca. Goes on an insane hallucinogenic trip. Comes back in the NFL, wins MVP, 43 touchdowns. He's like, "Oh, he's finding himself, things gonna work." So the next off season, biggest decision of his career, he does this thing, it was like a darkness retreat. It's like he just spends a week in darkness. It's like Stevie Wonder spent his whole life in darkness. Like, close your eyes, motherfucker, you know? Like, spending $200,000 just to be in a dark room. Stupid. But apparently you come, like, you reflect on yourself, you even hallucinate, and he comes out of this cave with this great revelation that he wants to play quarterback for the New York fucking Jets. What happened in that cave? Make a deal with the devil? Ruin his career. You know? But I find out a lot of things about myself because I'm originally from New Jersey. Yeah, it's cool. You guys cheered. Usually when I say I'm from New Jersey and West Virginia, people boo, and I think that's bullshit. I think that's bullshit because I feel like that's like an ugly girl calling another ugly girl ugly to make her feel better about herself, you know? At least I don't have a mole. Nope. I learned a lot of things coming here about West Virginia. First and foremost, like the demographics. Very white. Very white. You know, I got to school here, I was like, I feel safe. No. Not at all. You know? Like, I don't want you to think that, like, I looked at the demographics and was like, I'm committing tomorrow. No. I was shocked, right? I was surprised. The second thing I learned about West Virginia was there's a lot of blondes, which I'm all for. A lot of blondes. In New Jersey, not a lot of blondes. Grew up with Italian, Spanish. We have one blonde a year. Fascinating. We just stare at her from afar. It's like seeing a zebra at the zoo, you know? You go to the zoo, see a zebra, and you're like, wow. Look at his stripes. And I come down to West Virginia, and it's the fucking Serengeti. And there's just flocks and flocks of zebras heading downtown every night in their leather jacket and denim jeans. And I'm just across the street like a starving hyena being like, come here! Too quick. I'll get him next time here. The other thing I learned about West Virginia, it's surprisingly progressive. Who knew, right? There's women in the workforce in West Virginia. Like I'm talking about manual labor workforce, you know? We don't have that in New Jersey. In New Jersey, we have Mexicans. We do, you know? You say, Julio, Filo the Holo. Si, senor. But in West Virginia, women are in the workforce. And like the other day, I was driving down the street, and I looked out my window, and I saw 3 women doing road work, filling in a pothole, you know? And I thought to myself, you know what? This shit's never gonna get fixed. What are you gonna do? I was right though, I came back 3 hours and they're still working on the motherfucker. They were wearing hard hats to fill in a hole. Like, what are they talking about? They're like, what do we do here about this hole? It was crazy. I went home, got my boys. We got a 30 rack of beer, some lawn chairs, and we posted up across the street for another 3 hours. Like, keep it up, ladies. Thank you for your contribution to the workforce. I'm sorry. Sorry, chicks, ladies, lesbians. Let's be real here. These are some strong motherfuckers. They're scary. Other thing I learned about West Virginia, I didn't really know. I heard about the whole problem that they have. And then I came down here and I saw for myself with my own eyes, shit ton of crackheads everywhere. Crackheads here, everywhere, you know? And like, I'm used to going to New York City. The crackheads I experience are half naked, passed out on the ground, and you just step over them and keep walking, you know? The bottom of society. These people, I feel bad, they look like normal people. with backpacks on. You know? They wear backpacks because when you do meth in West Virginia, walking up the street feels like traversing Mount Everest. I was going to the barber shop and some crackhead walked up to me and goes, "You got any spare change?" And he actually sounded like, he was like, "Hey man, do you have any spare change?" And I was like, "No, sorry, I don't have any cash." And he goes, "I'll take Venmo." It's fucked up. I'm skinny. I have no right to make fun of somebody that's skinny. Like, I'm so skinny, if I rolled up my sleeve right now, you can see these veins going up and down my arm, visibly. It's not like I work out. It's not like I achieved something. No. I'm just so pale and white, I'm like transparent at this point. I'm like a biology diagram, you know? Like if I dropped out of school and joined the crackhead community, I wouldn't even need the belt. Right? Crackheads look at me, they go, "Kid's got potential." With a little bit of coaching, you can be dead by 24. I'm an English major. Yeah. And it's tough. I found out I wanted to be an English major when I came here, came to school. I was in business, did not want to do that. I was going to the library and write stories. So I was like, all right, I want to change my major to English. But I heard somebody say one time, you can never go to a big school like this with a bullshit degree like English. And who would say such a thing, right? My father would. Yeah. In passing, I was just getting driven home from practice. He's like, "Good thing you're going into marketing. Because I would never let you go to a bullshit degree like English, right?" So I was nervous, terrified, when I wanted to change my major to English. I thought he was gonna have to make me transfer out, right? So like I was hyping myself up to call him, right? I was like pacing around my room. It's like, all right, this is what I want to do. This is what I've always wanted to do. I want to be a writer. And I finally call him up and I said, "Hey Dad," and he said, "The fuck's wrong?" That's how dads answer the phone. I call my mom, she's like, "I love you." My dad's like, "Did you crash the car again?" No, I just want to check in, say hi. I had something I wanted to tell you. I've been thinking about this for a really long time, and it's just, he's like, "Spit it out, spit it out." I'm like, I know, I want to be an English major. And he said, "Whew, buddy, I thought you were gonna say you were gay." I'm like, no, I want to be a writer. He's like, "Same thing, right?" Right? He's like, "It's all right, buddy. You can be an English major. I'll accept you for who you are. You always were a little creative." You know? But I'm an English major. And I don't know if it's obvious, but I'm an outcast in the English department. Outcast, right? Like I like to go out, I like sports, I like to party, I like to have fun. And my classmates, on the other hand, they put pins on their backpacks. You know? Nothing wrong with putting pins on your backpack. Let me preface that. You know? I have nothing against people that put pins on their backpacks. They're crucial to society, and I respect their choice to put pins on their backpacks. I would never put a pin on my backpack. But they do. And you know, you make mistakes when you're surrounded by them, you know? Like I was in a creative writing class one time, and the way the class was set up, people write stories, and then everybody reads them and gives their advice on how it went, right? And they submit that story, and I come to class a little bit late, and it comes around the horn, and they're like, "Colin, what'd you think?" I was like, "Oh, well, personally, I thought that she did it," and my teacher goes, "Whoa. She? It is they, them. They told you this 4 months ago. How do you forget?" And I felt really bad. I was like, oh, I'm terribly sorry. I'm terribly sorry. I was getting bombarded, you know? I felt like I was a Jew in Nazi Germany. I was like, you know? I felt terrible. I felt really bad. I really did. So I looked at them, and I was like, oh, I'm terribly sorry. They're like, oh, no, it's okay, it's good. What did you think about my piece? And I said, oh, well, personally, I thought that they wrote a dog shit story. Fucking horrible. Fucking horrendous, you know? We're in college, you start a story with Once Upon a Time. What are we doing here? Fucking horrendous, you know? And the fucked up thing is they appreciated my suggestion, you know? They're like, thank you for your advice, you bigot. Said, you're welcome. She was very mad. Oh, I did it again, fuck. See, it happens, right? Another time I realized I was an outcast was in my first poetry class. I had to take a poetry class. I showed up to class late one day. Thursdays in Morgantown, they do dollar mixed drinks. Who am I to not capitalize on such a deal? Right? So I come to class on Friday, a little late, a little hungover, a lot of hungover. Ever been so hungover you question whether or not you're still drunk? You know? You're like looking at your clock, you're like, I took a shot at 4 a.m. It's 7:30. Let's go to class. So I show up to class, and they sit down, and the teacher goes, all right, class, I hope you guys did your first assignment. And I went, fuck. She goes, the first assignment of the semester, we're gonna stand up, we're gonna introduce ourselves, and we're gonna name our favorite poet and recite one of their lines. Fuck. So I looked at the guy to the left of me, and I was like, you got a favorite poet? And he goes, T.S. Eliot. And I was like, yeah, me too. And eventually it came around, and the girl to the right of me stands up, and she's like, hi, I'm Anna, and my favorite poet is Elizabeth Barrett, whatever, Browning, whatever. And this is a poem called whatever. Blah, 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 right? That's all I heard. Because I was sitting there being like, all right, what do I do? What do I do? I gotta think fast. Think really fast, right? So I stand up and I scoot my desk back, or chair back, and I go, what's up? I'm Colin. And my favorite poet is Dwayne Carter, also known as Lil Wayne. AKA Weezy F Baby, AKA Tunchi. And this is a line from his 8th studio album collection. And the song, the poem, is called Gonorrhea. And my teacher was like, how about you choose another one? I said, oh, good point. This song, poem, it's called Sorry for the Wait. Oh, yeah. All right, stop laughing. I gotta focus, this is a scene. Oh, yeah. It's like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It's like, oh yeah, right? So I straightened up, and I said, don't love that bitch. I fucked that hoe. She popped X, I smoke O's, tic-tac-toe. Right? I got an A on that assignment, you believe that? Academic weapon. Yeah, the English department is a cakewalk, or should I say fruit cakewalk. How you guys doing? You guys doing good so far? All right. I'm Irish, and I realized when I come to West Virginia, You guys aren't really proud of your heritage. Where I'm from, surrounded by a lot of different ethnicities, you gotta be proud of who you are. Right? I come to school here, I'm like, hey man, I'm Irish, what are you? They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, but like, what are you? They're like, I'm white, motherfucker. I'm like, no shit, dude, you got a missing tooth. Right? I'm like, whoa, like, what are you? He's like, Republican. Right? But I grew up Irish Catholic, more so Irish than Catholic. When you're Irish Catholic, you don't really have an obligation to Christ. You don't really have an obligation, you know? It's more of like a respect. You know? You can appreciate this guy's work. But you don't have to like go to church. You don't have to admire him. You just gotta wear a cross or some shit like that. You gotta go to church 2 times a year, Christmas, Easter, and you won't burn in hell for eternity. That's what I signed up for. You know? Despite my lack of attendance, I will say this though. I will say this. When I am home, I take my grandpa to church. But I don't pray. That shit's for pussies. Ask another guy to solve your fucking problems? You kidding me? I'll just bottle that shit up inside and let it consume me. Like a man. Like my forefathers before me. But despite my lack of attendance, my family was really involved in the church. Like my aunt worked at the church, and growing up, my priest was a huge inspiration. He touched me in many, many ways. Nah, I'm just kidding. Son of a bitch never touched me. I was too quick. Couldn't catch me. Should have locked the door before I got in here, Chuck. Rookie move there, Chucky, rookie move. Our priest used to go to our Christmas parties. We'd have big Christmas parties and the priest would go, right? And like he'd have a glass of gin and he'd be walking back to the kids' playroom. He's like, who's ready for confession? Like, get fuck off, Chucky. Creepy motherfucker. We used to have big, like, Christmas parties. My grandma loved that, right? And we still do. And we got a couple traditions, right? Everybody has a tradition. We sing Christmas carols. We don't go caroling. I think that's illegal. I don't think you can go caroling anymore. Who wants to open the door to a whole family of drunk Irish people just being like, we wish you a merry... What? We sing them inside, like normal people, right? And then we also play cards. That's something that my family has always done. And usually we had cards, but this past Christmas, we didn't have a deck of cards in the entire house. Stores are closed, right? What do? So my cousin thought it would be a great idea to play a game with the ink blot cards that she has from work. She's a psychiatrist, right? So she brings them down and we play a fucked up game of Pictionary. It's awesome. Everybody was having a good time. I wasn't. Because every time it was my turn, I kept getting the card that looks like my priest. No. I kept getting my parents fighting for some reason. It was strange. But we do those traditions. We do those traditions mostly to keep my grandpa's spirit alive. He's not dead, he's just been a little cranky. He's been calling me Jeff lately. Right? No. He's alive. Thank God. He is. He's alive. Alive and well. I don't know about well, but he's alive. I'm well. He's alive, I'm well in Morgantown, and that's all that matters, right? He came to America. He's an immigrant from Ireland, and he came here, and he came here like he didn't really know what to do. Right? He changed his middle name. He came to America at a point where Irish people were discriminated against, right? So he changed his middle name just to seem less Irish. And I told him, I was like, nobody gives a fuck about your middle name unless you kill 7 people and go on the run, or like shoot the president in the back of the head or something like that, you know? But he changed it, right? He came here on a sponsorship. So that's how the immigration process used to work. If you knew somebody and they were an American citizen, you can get sponsored by them and feel you get access to the country, right? It was like walking up to a frat party and being like, I know Jerry. Oh shit, you know Jerry? come on in. But when he did come here, he was like working odd jobs. And then 6 months into being here, 6 months into coming to America, the land of the home and the free and all that bullshit, he got drafted. 6 months in to come into a country, he got drafted. He was so dumb, he thought that's how you became an American. He just thought that was a rite of passage. Like we were in Taiwan or some shit, you know? But he got drafted, and he went. He didn't draft dodge. If he did, I'd grow up Canadian. And I wanted to be here where you find people. So he went to war, and at that point, he was going to Vietnam, right? And he went to basic training down in like Georgia, Savannah, Georgia, because Georgia is the only place in this country where your balls sweat as much as they would in a Vietnamese jungle. You ever hear your dad say it's like a jungle down there? That's what he meant, right? So my grandpa takes the bus down from New York City, and you ever talk to your grandpa and he's like subtly racist? Just like a hint of racism, you know? Like a dash, right? He doesn't mean it, he's just outdated. He's just not with the times, right? You know how they say ignorance is bliss? For old people, ignorance is racist. They don't know any better, right? Like, I'm eating breakfast at a diner with him, and he's telling me this story about how he went off to war, and he goes, yeah, I drove down there on the bus with a really well-mannered colored fella. What? What'd you just say? Oh, a colored fella. I go, no, it's black. He goes, yeah, that was his color, he was black. And I was like, no, you can't say color. It's outdated, you're not allowed to say that. He goes, what, they've been called much worse. All right, thank God that worked. If that didn't work, I know some of Juju's friends would be in the lobby being like, hey, yo, where your pops at? I just want to talk. It was an accident. But he went down, basic training, and after basic training, he came up to New York City, and he had 30 days before he's going to war, right? In those 30 days before you go off to war, fight in a war that you have no part in, you don't know who you're fighting, you don't know what you're fighting or why you're fighting for, what are you going to do in those 30 days? You can train a little bit more. You can pray, but that shit's for pussies. Or you can go get some pussy. That's exactly what my grandpa did. He went out. What else are you going to do? You know, you're going to sit inside and read a book? No. You're going to go out and get active, right? So he went out, and he used to say, he was like, yeah, we used to go out and go dancing. And I didn't know whether or not he meant dancing or like dancing, you know? But he was like, yeah, I wanted to go dance. I haven't danced in a couple months. And I was like, oh, okay. So he goes out dancing, and he goes out to New York City. And he takes a train to Manhattan to City Center Dance Hall. And back then there was dance halls and dance clubs. The dance halls were like the, like the champagne glasses, poofy dresses, stuff like that. The dance clubs were like the cocaine in the bloodstream, boogie woogie, hey man, you're peeing in the coke room kind of club. That wasn't his speed. He goes out to a dance hall, City Center in Manhattan. And that night, believe it or not, he met my grandma. He was nervous, he was all alone, he was by himself, and he was at one end of the hall, and he looked over, and he made eye contact with her. And he knew right then and there that it was the most beautiful thing he had ever laid eyes on. Now, I saw pictures of my grandma from back then. Hard 6, maybe. I don't know. I was looking at family photos. I was like, I don't know, Bob. I don't know. Most beautiful thing he's ever seen. No, but he approached her. He walked up to her, and he reached out his hand, asked her to dance. She took his hand, and they danced gracefully, blissfully together for the next 50 years until eventually she sadly passed away. And now I'm up here on stage calling her ugly. And she's looking down at me being like, that's not nice. Right? But if she was here, she'd be proud of what I was doing. She'd be happy, right? Yeah. She always said I had a gift to make people laugh, and I should use that gift. All right, let's stop this. Do I know you? Oh, there we go. I'll see you later at the bar, you motherfucker. You said you always wanted to come to a comedy show, not interrupt when I was talking about my dead grandma. I appreciate it, though. Keep your hands in your pockets, fellas. Or just keep them in each other's pockets. All right. That's cool. That's cool. I gave that motherfucker a promo code. You believe that? All right. Where we at? All right. We're almost done. I got one more part. You guys have a good night tonight so far? I got one more part and we'll get out of here and we can go downtown and get fucked up. What do you say? Yep. All right. So I never had a real relationship like my grandparents did. I think that's lost in our generation, you know? Soulmates, stuff like that. Born to be together. My only real relationship was in 6th grade. Don't laugh. It was real. We had something going, you know? We would text all night long, and then when I saw her in person, I'd run away. I'm like, I was just taking my boy's advice. He's like, keep letting her chase you. I thought he meant literally. We'd stay up all night texting. She'd be like, oh my God, my favorite song is Timber by Kesha and Pitbull. Do you know that song? And I text back, oh my God, I kind of like that song. Mr. 305 is my guy with like a couple Y's, right? She's like, what is your favorite song? And I said, you know that song Gonorrhea by Lil Wayne? She's like, oh my God, I love that song. Relationship didn't end. It didn't last for very long. Ended poorly, you know. She texted me. Broke up over text appropriately. Her poetic ass said, garbage is dumped, and so are you. Doesn't even do like roses are red, violets are blue. Just that end part, you know? The beginning part didn't send or some shit. I was devastated. I was devastated because she was the hottest 11-year-old. No, wait. Wait, I came out wrong. When I was 11, she was the hottest 11-year-old. Like now, if I saw her, I'd be like, eh. No, I'm kidding. Hard 6? No. Yeah, no. But she grew up to be really hot. Like, extremely hot, right? Like, she was so hot in high school that gym teachers would hit on her. Like, at the beginning of high school, she was so hot that she didn't hook up with anybody in our grade. We weren't good enough, right? And then by the end of high school, she didn't hook up with anybody in our race. We weren't good enough. Right? I can't blame her, though. I can't dunk. I'm more of a miss a layup on a fast break kind of guy. I can't dunk. I can do this, though. You know the phrase, common phrase, if you can make her laugh and giggle, you can make her cheeks clap and jiggle. There you go. Whoever came up with that is a goddamn liar. It's a goddamn liar. I'm a living testament that shit is not true. It's like that scene in Oppenheimer, they're like, how can it be? It is true. It's a paradox. They see me, they're like 6 foot, funny, still gets no pussy? It's a paradox. Right? A scientific study. You can write a paper on my ass. All right. Getting a little distracted. Let's see. Paper. Getting a pussy. Okay, I got that part. Sorry, Mom. Where are we at? Yeah. No, I don't get no pussy. But like I said, I can't dunk, but I can do this, right? And I learned that I could do this in Morgantown, which is great. I started off here. I got great advice from 2 comedians that I admire. One of them invited me to a show personally, and the other one said, get on stage. And when I came back to school here, there was no stages to get on. So I built my own. Yeah. I started a business, and we would put on comedy shows all around town. And we started a business, and it was going great until I got into... What are you gonna do? I got into a business with a guy that was Jewish and Asian. I was fucked from the start. I stood no chance, dude. I stepped into the ring with a guy with fucking cauliflower ear. I was bound to get fucked up, right? But I kept it going, right? The guy told me to get on stage. It was the first time I ever went on stage, went pretty good. The first time I ever performed stand-up was at a family vacation, right? So big family vacation, we take a trip down the shore. We all get in the shore house. And one night, rainy day, there was a talent show, right? Amongst the kids, parents boozing heavy, kids, none the wiser. They go, hey, put on a talent show. They said it more like, hey, put on a talent show, don't you? And they did. And my brothers play soccer. So they did soccer tricks or whatever the fuck they did, right? And I did stand-up. So me and my dad went in a room and we started ripping off jokes from 80s comedians that I've always admired, right? So I walk up here and the first thing I said was, ooh, lovely crowd, now I know why tigers eat their young. And the poor children reacted the same way you guys just did. They said, what? You're gonna feed us to some tigers? But I kept rolling. Told some poop jokes, told some knock-knock jokes, right? And by the end of it, I was so comfortable, I was smoking a cigarette. I was 6 years old. Right? Finished my set. Kids started cheering. Parents started cheering. Grandpa looked over at my grandma. He looked at me and he goes, "Kid's got potential." All right, I'm Colin Doyle. I hope you guys have a good night.